What's up, guys? It's Rick Ginn, and you are on Flip with Rick live. I feel like I should do it like, what's his name on UFC? Love that guy, the announcer. Great story. Anyways, you are on the channel that only talks about wholesaling, everything about wholesaling we love. And today we're going to do more of a macro look at the real estate market, particularly the effects of the federal interest rates. And yeah, I know it's not really direct effect on wholesale, but I'm going to show you how this works out. Now, here's the cool part. I've been doing this just over 23 years, and I'm here to tell you, number one, first and foremost, don't obsess about interest rates. It's I always say you date the rate and you marry the home, but the reality is it does have an effect, and you have to understand the effect on real estate, particularly when it comes wholesaling. So here's what I want you to do, guys, is number one, you got the comment section. A really cool new feature that they put on here is you can actually, I think you can put a question mark next to it. So if you have a question, you can put it there. Number two, make a friend in the comments. These are great people that love wholesaling. It's hard to find communities with aligned interest, and why not make a friend? Find someone you can do a JV with. Guys, match your names up with who you are in the school group. It's much easier to take some of these communications offline, and the easiest way to do it. So make sure you use the comment section. It's really the most valuable way. If you got a question, ask it. I'll do my best to answer it. So today we're going to talk about the effects of interest rates unless you fell off the earth. We got to walk through a little history lesson on interest rates. And if you stay with me to the end, I'll show you how this has a positive and or a negative effect on the real estate market and specifically wholesaling. But we got to start very broad. So how do I make this fun and entertaining talking about freaking interest rates? I'll do the best I can with it. So make sure you stay engaged. I'm going to ask a lot of questions, and we try to use the comments to communicate, because if I bring on everyone live, I'll never get anything done. So let's dive into it. And by the way, if you are brand new to this channel, do me a favor, make sure you go over to freewholesaling.com. I will show you how to get started in wholesaling. It will give you a detailed analysis on how to get started, how to do the marketing, how to write the contracts, how to negotiate, and how to dispo your deals. I never had this when I started wholesaling. I had a lot of people who tried to take advantage of me. You're in a world where everybody wants to charge you for everything. Why do I give it away for free? Because I can. That's it. Why not? I play the long game. Let everybody else sell their coaching programs. And there's some great programs out there too. I'm not knocking everybody's coaching program. I don't think there's many people that have more experience than myself and my son doing wholesaling. 23 years alone for me. My son's on 9 years. And why not? If a father can teach his son how to do wholesaling in high school, how can I teach you? And that's how you have to look at it. You got to simplify this, but you're going to have to take incredible action, and you're going to have to learn to get uncomfortable. So start over there, because if you have a question, 90% of them are answered in that course. And here's the best part is, I don't ask for a credit card. Just go in there. I want to help you out. It is the most used course in all of wholesaling. Oh, Rick, it's free. That's why it's used. No, because it's highly effective. I'm giving you my brain up here. So let's jump into it. What's up, everybody? Awesome. So let's talk about interest rates. And we're not talking about politics. I don't have time to do that. And on that note, listen, I don't have any enemies in real estate. Do I have competitors? Absolutely. But it makes me better. It makes them better. You guys seen what me and Zach have done with the software industry, what we've done with the coaching industry. But please don't misinterpret. I just call things out when I don't think they're right. I never call people out by names, but the reality is everything going on in this world, just because you have competition, it doesn't mean you dislike somebody. I have no hate for anybody. And I'm just saying we need to come from a world where we help people out. It's okay to have different agendas, but like you can walk away and still agree with people. So please respect everybody in the comments. I don't want to sit here and ban and do people like that. But if you're nasty to people, you're gone. You'll be gone on every platform I have. So that being said, let's talk about interest rates. We're going to start from the top down. Let's work through this. So let's just start out. The Fed cut the interest rates by 0.25. What the hell does that mean for me in wholesaling? I'm going to tell you in the beginning, not a whole lot. You are not going to see an overnight change. If you think your inbox is going to be flooded with leads and then your cash buyer list is going to blow up overnight, it's not going to happen overnight. It's coming though. And I'm going to show you when, exactly how it's going to do it, but you've got to take action now. If you've never done a wholesaling deal, go ahead and get started. Learn the business. You can learn at freewholesaling.com. You can pay somebody for a coaching program. That decision's up to you. I don't think you're ever going to beat the quality of what I have out there. By the way, I updated everything recently, last few months, in high definition to 2025 standards. So let's talk about interest rates. They dropped 0.25. So if I check the current mortgage rates, the damn things didn't drop. Rick, how can that happen? That you have to understand, that is, you're not going to get an instant knee-jerk reaction. Now, mortgage rates are tied to a lot more than the Fed funds. There's a lot of factors that go into it. I'm not going to go into it because we're just going to waste time. So more importantly, let's do this. Let's bring up the graph of, well, let's first start there. So we can bring up the graph. I don't know if this is going to help you or it's going to hurt you. Let me see. Which one is that? Okay, so there is, if you look at the screen, this is the history of the Fed. I believe I ran it for whatever, 20 years. And if you really look at this, if you look at this screen, I mean, I've lived every one of these cycles. I don't want to let you know, guys, I've always made money in wholesaling. It doesn't matter where you're on this graph. This is the first point I want to get across to you. Stop obsessing about interest rates. I'm going to tell you how they're going to help and possibly have some negative net effects on your wholesaling business. So if we look at this, Rick started way before this graph. That's how old Rick is. That's how long I've been doing wholesaling. So I want you to understand where we got. So we had this, we're coming out of 2008, 2009, where the economy just tanked out. Don't want to get in the politics of that. And then they dropped the interest rates to like crazy, crazy historical low rates. And then they slowly built it up. I'm not going to tell you who was in office there, but they just ramped it up. Why? Because the economy was on fire. And the Fed's purpose is to be a neutral party to monitor the economy and use tools to help it keep it balanced. I'm not going to argue if the Fed should exist, all this other stuff. I believe the Fed should always be an independent operation because you can't have politicians telling them what to do. They already influence it. If you don't believe that, it's just the truth. That's why they have the media. And then we look here, something, it just worked its way up and then boom, it dropped like a rock. We all know what happened then. That was the pandemic. And then these crazy low rates where they were just giving money away. And now most of you are joining me. If you came in wholesaling at the end of 2021 or 2022, it was like a rocket ship. Look at this thing. It's so extreme. It's weird. So let me take this off the screen. So that's the Fed funds rates. A lot of people think, oh my God, that's exactly, no, that's not the mortgage rates. So where are they going with this? Let's talk about that real quick. Hold on, I got to bounce screens here. If we understand that and we know where they're going is 2025. Let's talk about 2025. They're supposedly going to have 3 more rate cuts. They seem to change their mind depending on what report comes out. The biggest focus the Fed's trying to figure out is the labor market. Now, I'm telling you, 4.2 unemployment is a very, very low rate. I'm used to 5% being the standard. If the government could get it below 5, they were happy. Dude, we've been at like low 4s, upper 3s, like forever. And I don't know if I believe these numbers anymore, but I'm not here to tell you what data, economic, government data I believe in. I believe in Rick's data, but that's it. So 3 more cuts. So that 3.6 is the Fed funds rates. A lot of people go, oh, that's supposed to be the mortgage. No, 3.6 is the Fed fund rates. And then the banks set the decision on how much profit they want to be making, and it's based on competition and a whole lot of other factors. So they are required by law, a certain amount of monies, yada, yada, yada. So let's talk about the 2026 target. 2026, they want to get to 3.25. That is the target based on Jerome Powell's last conversation. Now, I'm not an economic expert, but I can extrapolate this out and bring it down to the real estate market, specifically to wholesaling. So the first thing we have to do is understand, let's talk about mortgages, because this is going to have the biggest effect on how we handle wholesaling. Now, what I want to do is let's bring up the graph of the mortgage rates historically. And they're obviously they're going to mirror the Fed funds rate. It's just going to be a little bit different. So if I do that, 30-year mortgage average, because that's what affects most single family residents. So hopefully you can see my screen here. This is absolutely insanity when you look at this. Okay. This is the best history lesson you're going to get on wholesaling. Nobody ever really, people talk about it, but here's the cool part. You see this, that little gray mark after 2000, that's where Rick started. And I've looked at the mortgage rates have actually been pretty steady. You look at 1980. Do you know 1980 was one of the sweetest spots for wholesaling and creative financing in U.S. history? Why? Because nobody could figure out. You had rates as high as 18 and a half. What is it? What's that number? It's like 18 and a half, almost 19%. Try to wrap your brain around that. Try to figure out who was in office then. But it was just nuts. But like, you got to understand, this ran for a good 5-6 years. And then we look at it and we work all the way over there. Let's go in the modern times, 2000. Things were really steady when Rick started out wholesaling, and I got deals. But if you want to really look in on this screen, if you look from 2013, 14, all the way to 2022, that is when rates were below 5%. Why is that important, guys? I want you to understand this is a great lesson. This is incredible. The lower rates in the environment sparked a run on real estate that I don't know if we'll ever see again. I'm planning on it, but I don't know. So basically from 2012 all the way to 2022, 10 years, you had mortgage rates just drop. It created such a fuel, such a fire in real estate. It was unbelievable. In fact, I'll make a self-proclamation here. I had the ability to put properties under contract just with slight discounts, 5-10%, and I had standing room only all day to sell them. It created it was fun, it was exciting, but even I said at this point, I go, you know what? We're going to be in trouble at this rate. And what do I mean by that? Everybody from 2012, 13, right here right there at 2013, where's that little dip? They thought they were Albert Einstein when it came to wholesaling. What do I mean by that? During that run, let me pull my screen off of here. From 2013 to 2022, it was hard to screw up wholesaling. In fact, people stopped using fundamentals. We've seen this happen in the stock market over and over. And I want you to understand what happened here. Why am I harping on 2013 to 2022? This is when you guys got bombarded by internet marketers, specifically wholesalers, selling coaching courses. Now, they're not all bad. I took advantage of a lot of them myself. It got out of control. I watched people create courses that bought 2 and 3 houses that told you they were an expert. They learned how to multiply the doors on a house. If a house had 15 doors, I just took down 15 doors. And I'm like, from 2013 to 2022, it was really hard to screw up wholesaling. In fact, people stopped using fundamentals and it got out of control. And if you look at that graph, when did people wake up? Well, let's jump back to it. When did people wake up? Simple. At the end of 2022, people got a sobering effect on what interest rates did. And what did it do? It locked down the market because people didn't want to move out of their houses with their 3% mortgages. I don't blame them. And then capital got very scarce because it got very expensive. To get a real estate investment loan, it's about 7.5 to 8% as we speak today. Now, a 30-year mortgage as of today is around 6.4%. Trust me, they're going to advertise it lower, but when you're said and done, you're going to wind up at 6.4. I know you can look at the APY, you can look at a lot of stuff. You have to have perfect credit. You got to have a big chunk of money. And if you deviate off of that, you could approach 6.9 with your eyes shut. It doesn't matter. It's still, and I'm here to tell you the number's actually reasonable. The problem is from 2013 to 2022, because everybody did real estate, the activity levels were insane. And when I want you to understand this lesson, when interest rates dropped, demand increased. And what happened simultaneously? Prices exploded. And this is going, so I'm putting the puzzle together here. I want you to understand. I'm giving you a history lesson. And history doesn't always repeat itself, but it definitely 100% rhymes. And if you understand how to do that, you can kind of predict some of the things going to happen. You can't completely predict it. The other thing is from 2013 to 2022, there was more wholesaling courses created than I could imagine. In fact, it got so bad in 2014, 15, I said, I don't want anything to do with the coaching industry because it's being run amok. And I can't control what others do, but guys, you guys were desperate to get courses because real estate got so hot. Wholesaling was one of the biggest topics. Guys, there's entire companies that built coaching programs on wholesaling, made tons of money, lots of partners. They don't even exist anymore. How can that be? Good companies always survive. A lot of people came in the wholesaling and go, I'm going to get rich and I'm going to get out. And they did that. The ones that kept trying to do wholesaling from 2013 to 2022 business model, they're all struggling. In fact, I've seen people go on record from 2021 to 2023 saying, actually 2024 saying, I lost my butt in wholesaling. Now, I already know you weren't wholesaling because if you do wholesaling the way me and Zach teach you, we minimize risk and we maximize reward. Let's be brutally honest. We opened up the speculation boom. And if you look from that graph, 2013 to 2022, I don't know how to tell you this, dude. I could have had my cat done wholesaling and it wouldn't have screwed it up. That's how easy it was because you had rapidly depreciating interest rates. We had extra inventory and it was just, you could find motivated buyers. You could find sellers that would overbid for the properties. And guys, it created to me one of the most unrealistic markets I've ever seen. And I just said, I'm not going to get in this mess. And people, coaches everywhere bragging about how much money they're making. Not, a few stuck around, but the ones that did speculation, they tried to apply the rules from 2013 to 2022, and it doesn't work anymore. Why? Buyers aren't chomping at the bit. Sellers are very wise to their values. They have a lot of information, and AI has taken over. So what do we do going forward? Rick, what's the next thing I need to understand if that? So if you follow a program from an investor that started in 2013 and retired in the early 2020s, it's going to be bad information. I just have to give you a public service announcement. They're telling you the method I did 10 years ago doesn't work today. Now, all methods have to be updated. I'm not an idiot. But there's a distinct difference between wholesaling and speculation. Speculation, let the fix and flip guys do that stuff all day. That's what they do. They have to speculate. They hedge it and they usually bet well, but eventually they're going to have some losers on it. If you do wholesaling correct, you don't take that risk. And that's what you have to understand. So I don't care where the market is. Let me pull this up here. Rule number one, I don't care if the market's at 19% or 2%. Wholesaling always works. people that don't know what they're talking about when it comes to wholesaling go, oh my God, the interest rates went up. I'm going to do this. Oh, interest rates down. Now I'm going to do this. Here's the thing. If a stockbroker tells you you can't time the market, why on earth do you think you can time wholesaling? I don't know. Hey, but you got to understand this. So stop trying to find that perfect moment to get into wholesaling. Now is the best time to get started. We have to understand that. Now, knowing that, I'm looking at your questions, comments and stuff when we put it in here. So if we know that, we know where the targets get, we're talking about interest rates. Here's what you have to understand. I'm sorry, I'm organizing my thoughts. I got ADHD. If you don't know that, sorry to disclose it. It's a gift. It's not a curse. I don't enjoy it, but it has its place. Anyways, lost my train of thought. So when it comes to real estate, I want you to understand it is a slow reduction in interest rates. It is going to have a massive compounding effect. In fact, when those interest rates went up, you guys didn't feel it for about a year and a half. Right now, in 2025, you're feeling the entire hangover effects of high interest rates. What's the effects? Affects affordability. People can't afford mortgages as much anymore. Investors don't want to put their money in there because it's too expensive. And it really affects a lot of things. There's so many stagnant markets. We're going to talk about that and show you how to take advantage of them. So it's a slow reduction. So if you were expecting an overnight drop of like 1% in mortgages, no, that's not, but it's coming. It's definitely going to come. We're going to talk about. So currently right now, 6.4%. I looked it up right before I started the show, see if there was a massive dip, and there's not. Rick, I found 5.99. Listen, at the end of the day, there's a number they factor. 6.4 is the average US. And honestly, you're going to have good credit and a good down payment to even approach that number. Why? Because I talk to mortgage brokers every week. Now, what is the target? Where is this going? You guys put it in the comments. If we're at 6.4, where do you expect the interest rates to drop by the end of the year? Please don't put it in Chat GPT because I need you to use your brain and exercise it. So we need to come to a consensus here. Where are we going? Steve's looking for 3%. So am I, but I can't even get the Fed fund rate at that. So I don't think we're going to be able to borrow less than the Fed funds. So we have to do that. I got 6. I think that's a great guess. I got another 6. I'm paying attention to what you guys say. I promise. What's up, Hector? Josh says 5. I think Josh has started happy hour a little bit early. Well, it depends if you're on the East Coast, you can do it. Steve says 4. And listen, I want it. So I want to show you what the Fed's forecast is because that's all that really matters. So the target rate based on what they've set out for the end of the year, just so you know, please don't have a heart attack on that. We're at 6.14 right now, 6.4. This is where we're going to wind up at the end of the year, 6.15. Rick, are you kidding me? They're going to cut 0.75. You assume that 0.75 is going to translate mortgages. It doesn't do that. It has to have a compounding effect. But I'm here to tell you 6 per 6. Let's say it'll be between 6 and 6.25 is going to be the target. Why are you telling me this, Rick? Because you need to know. Some of you think it's going to drop to 3%. It's not. Now, let's look forward. Trust me, I'm going to keep narrowing this down as we go through the comments. Bear with me, okay? The next part is 6.15. It makes things more affordable. People were freaking out when we started at 2.99% and went up to almost 7 on mortgage rates. No wonder why nobody wants to buy a home right now. Number one, we have an affordability issue in the United States, which we'll talk about. And number two, if I'm paying twice the interest rate what I normally used to in the last 10 years, remember that was a fake bubble. That's where all your coaching stuff came from. And by the way, hats off to the coaches that survive right now because they got to be doing something right to teach people going forward. So as much as I don't attack the coaching industry, I just want it to be productive. I want everybody to win in coaching. I know it's not always going to go that way, but that's why I don't hate anybody in coaching. I just want it to be effective. I was really frustrated from 2013 to 2022. It was some of the worst information I've ever seen shared. And more people got hurt buying really bad. I mean, people with buying 2 and 3 houses were giving out advice like they bought thousands of homes. It's absolutely nuts. Anyways, so what's our target for 2026? This is the fun part. So at the end of 2026, where do you expect if you had to bet, don't wish, if you had to bet $1,000 right now, and I'll give you within like 0.10, what do you think that the mortgage rate for a 30-year mortgage, not a jumbo, not a 15, not a 10, not an ARM, where do you think that number is going to wind up being? Put it in the comments because I'm going to show you what the target is and where you're going, because we have to inject truth into this. Now, there's no guarantee what the number is going to be. End of 2026, what do you think the mortgage rate is going to be? Because we have to predict it a little bit to get out ahead of it. So put in the comments what you think December 2026, what you think you expect a mortgage rate to hit at. So we're getting close here. Now, if you have to bet with your money and not your heart, at 4, I got 5.4, 5.3. I think you guys chat GPT did this. 5.7, 5.5. So based on, so we got a range of like 4.25 to 5.5, 6.1. Now, there's no guarantees on it, but this is basically once you dig through all the Fed stuff, and you got to dig, the target is 5.25. So guys, listen, I don't think we're going sub 5 anytime soon. Good news, bad news. But guys, from 7% to 5, maybe it gets 5. It's not going to go below 5. It's something you don't want it below 5. Do you know why? It means something drastic happened in this country. And the idea is you should always have the rate set to where if something terrible happened, a stock market crash, a war broke out, or some terrible, terrible attack on the United States, they got to do stuff to incentivize. The problem is when you get down to like under 3%, there's really not much more room you can go. So you got to be careful because low rates, and we're going to talk about the effects of low rates, what it does. So that leads me to the next thing. What is the effects of the interest rates, particularly the Feds, how they affect the real estate market? Now, there's 2 ways they affect it. 2 simple ways. And that's it. I really don't. And then there's a whole nother list of things that it's going to affect on it. But we got to talk about the effects. So first thing you have to understand is the perception of real estate. So we talk to homeowners every day. So how do you think, let me ask you guys, you can answer this in the comments. How do you think homeowners get their information on the real estate market? This has changed. Honestly, I used to have a one set answer on it, but how do you think they get a feeling for how the real estate market's going? You know, when your neighbor comes over and goes, hey, I'm thinking about selling my house. I go, ooh, the market's kind of rough. Why would you do that? And they do that. So this was my old, no, we're not going to put that one up there. The news, the media, right? I'm here to tell you, you have to change it because, listen, real estate agents only give one piece of advice, sign. Like they want to list the property. Listing doesn't mean you're going to sell the property. And so I would never get it from a real estate agent because it's always going to be biased. We used to say the news, the media. I will tell you, I think more people, oh, Lord, we'll take half that comment. We'll do Zillow. We're not going to get it from the DNC. Word of mouth, no. They get it from social media, guys. I'm telling you, predominantly most news is delivered on social media now. These mainstream channels are just fading and fading, and I think there's going to be a massive change. People are looking for streaming information. Here's the problem is every one of these outlets, they're biased. They're all run by corporations, and they all have their own views, political views, financial. And so you got to get information from various sources, and you got to you've got to assess the data on your own. We all learned what happened in the last 4 or 5 years. We all understand how the media is manipulated. So if you think politics can manipulate it, do you think the real estate market can? Yes, they can. So we have to understand that we have to take the homeowner's temperament of what the real estate market is. And right now, the homeowner's temperament is, it's not great news. And here's the really cool part. This is where you can do some damage. The perceived value of the homeowner, in my opinion, is borderline rough right now. Homes are sitting in the market. There's a lot of stagnant markets. We're going to go over them, but I'm telling you, it's I only care what the homeowner thinks. Now, I used to follow the media to figure out what the homeowner thinks. Zillow definitely had an influence on it because everybody thinks their value is, but Zillow gets the worst itch. Zillow has, I don't know how they even do like some of their valuations, but I got to assume they can manipulate anything they want. So Zillow's agenda is to drive leads to realtors. So you have to look at every company that reports what is their agenda. The mortgage industry, all they want to do is prop up the real estate industry because they depend on real estate to make it work. So the first effect, perceived easing of affordability for homeowners. When interest rates drop, people feel better. Don't ask me why, but I promise you that 0.2 drop in a mortgage rate is not really going to change things. But it doesn't change for you and me, but it changes for the homeowner. Because think about this. If a knife is falling, right? Do you want to try to grab it midair while it's falling? If a knife's going up or down, do you want to attack it? Absolutely not, because you're probably going to get hurt. You're going to get cut. So when rates are constantly going up, people are like, what the hell do I want to buy a house for? The rates are going to keep going up. We've been talking about this really for 4 years now. And finally, guys, the pendulum has swung. It's at least, so it stopped, but the problem, it stopped for like, I think 8 or 9 months. That's ridiculous. I believe part of it came political, but I'll let you guys make a decision on that. So now that we finally turned the corner and we're going to use labor as the excuse, which is fine, we have light. In fact, they predicted rate cuts for the next 2 years. Guys, this is going to be amazing for homeowners because now they feel like rates are going to go up. They can jump into the game and they feel like they're going to get a more affordable house. Now, the downside is pricing houses. The real problem is the price of an average U.S. home is $410,000. It's almost doubled in like 6 or 7 years. Crazy. I'm going to get into this because it's going to get real good. Now, the perceived easing of affordability, I don't know if it's really there because the home prices are so high. The mortgage rate's still going to have quite an effect on your affordability. But in the public's mind is housing's now starting to become affordable. Okay, let's keep moving on that because now we have to build. Now we're building here. The next one is we haven't had refis in 3 years. In fact, most people never want to refi because it's painful. Why would you want to get out of a lower rate to get into a higher rate? Why? Because I want to access capital. So we've had a lockdown on capital. I'm getting there, I promise you. But you're going to have a refi boom out of this. This is what mortgage brokers live by. Now, I don't think it's going to happen till Q1, Q2 of 2026. Why are refis important to you as a wholesaler? Dude, they're everything. You can statistically go look. I didn't have time to do this. You can look at the correlation of refis and the amount of cash buyers that buy investment properties. They're directly correlated. Where do they get their capital from, guys? They get them from refis. They get them from HELOC. Same thing. A HELOC is a home equity line of credit. And when rates are going up, nobody wants to do them. When rates are going down, everybody wants to access their capital. Guys, we've had capital sitting on the sideline for 4 or 5 years. I got great news about that. We're going to talk about that in demand. Now, here's the other effects of interest rates on the market rates. You've got to understand buyer demand increases. That's great news for us as wholesalers. Buyer demand increases. Why? So many people have been on the sideline to buy a piece of real estate. It doesn't matter if it's their own home, an investment property, a commercial. Everyone's kind of been on the sideline. Hopefully you haven't. And I definitely haven't, but I don't stop. I just keep doing wholesaling. So we know for a fact, we know 100% without a doubt that buyers demand it can only go up because it's at historical lows right now. So we got some weird stuff going on here. Now, let's just keep. I want you to understand this because my ADHD might kick in. I might lose you here, and I apologize. So this is where my son reels me in. I want you to think about this. Think about. I'm not asking you to pick political sides. That's not my point here. The current administration, call it the big beautiful bill. There was a lot of crap spending in there. I don't want to don't get me started on that. We could do an entire show on that. But they put tax incentives particularly designed for the real estate investor. Now, Rick, what the hell are you talking about? Honestly, this bill, the previous administration was cutting out what I'm about to show you that you can do. And this, with ease of capital and the ability to take care of these administrative tax loopholes, in my opinion, it's going to explode the real estate market. Now, I don't want to drop a name, but there's a company out there, and they've had lots of people that work for them. They wrote a book back in the 90s, something about a rich father and a broke father, and great book. I actually loved the book. I thought it was brilliant. I was shocked to find out it's just completely made up. It doesn't matter. It's a great story, but as I said, I'm not calling somebody out, but this exact person that is an expert in real estate has predicted for 11 years, the market's going to crash. And they've been wrong 11 times. But people spend hundreds of millions of dollars learning their programs. And then they're going to pitch you coins at the end. So I'm just saying, we got to be responsible how we do this. How do you get it wrong 11 times? And here's the one thing I've learned with real estate. None of us know the exact future. I could be dead wrong. But here's the difference. I'll admit it when I'm wrong. But this idea it's going to crash, if I followed this person's advice, I would have had to sit on the sideline 10 years. It would have cost me a fortune. And I want you to understand, you've got to look at it. So the current administration has done a reward. The last administration was just closing this off. And honestly, it freaked a lot of investors out. So there's a little thing called depreciation in real estate. And in the big, beautiful bill, not my name, that's what big BBL, right? They had a section to bring back depreciation. Now, I'm not getting in here and giving you an accounting lesson, but as you get more advanced in real estate, this is extremely valuable. Why? I'm out chasing real estate harder than I ever have. Now, I do my wholesaling, but I am actively chasing apartments, commercial buildings, and all sorts of businesses to take advantage of this. Rick, the hell are you talking about? It's called depreciation. And what this bill allows you to do as an investor is to accelerate your depreciation. So I can go buy a $3 million building and I can write off a big chunk of it right away. Well, why do you want to do that? Because I can offset my income and I can delay paying taxes on it. Oh, you one of those guys that don't pay your taxes? No, dude, I read the rules. And these are the rules. And the same people that accuse you of not paying your taxes are the ones that wrote this legislation to do it. Now, the reason why would an administration write this? To stimulate the economy. They want to reward the real estate investor, the person that wants to buy real estate. Well, isn't depreciation, it's kind of fake because you got to pay it back at the end. You're correct. But I want you to understand this. Real estate goes up in value. You could depreciate it faster than any other asset class. Oh, and you can get cash flow off of it. You show me another asset, you can do that. It's unbelievable what you got bonus depreciation. You do cost segregation. You can write off the furniture in the first year. You can write off the appliances. Guys, there's so much you can do. But the main thing is I can offset my income. So if I'm a high income earner, I've earned it over 23 years. I want to go out and offset so I don't have to pay ridiculous tax bills. How do I do it? I buy real estate. I fix it up. I employ people and I keep it going. It gets a full cyclical effect on the economy. So the same people say, oh, you're one of those guys who don't pay your taxes. No. I read the rules and I stimulate the entire economy. I increase payroll. I increase local county taxes. I employ people in the local community and abroad. It is a win-win. It is a net effect on the economy that wins. But if you want to be singular-minded and focus on one individual and pay your taxes, it means you don't understand how the game is played. I want to pay my fair amount of taxes. Trust me, the amount of taxes I pay millions in payroll and the real estate tax alone, at least $1 million a year. I interject more money into economies than most average people. And then you get people go, well, you paid a very little amount of taxes because I spent millions in investment. It's expensive. I got to hire accountants, CPAs, lawyers. I got to hire construction workers. I got to hire property managers. I got to hire realtors. I've been rewarded for what they wrote in the book. And when they change it, I'll change my behavior. The lesson I want you to learn here is they are taking the gloves off and telling people to dump money in real estate. Does everybody understand that? And for the first time in a long time, in my opinion, really in the last 5-6 years, the optimism in real estate, it's exciting. I know what's going to happen. And some of you can't see it. Some of you are waiting to get your first deal, and it's awesome. Your timing's perfect. But once again, I told you can't time the real estate market. You just got to get active. It's just like the stock market. And we have to understand how this works. So if we understand that, I want you to understand. Let me see here. Oh my God, I got so much to get through here. Let's talk about the side effects, because you know me and Zach always talk about the good and bad of any situation. Let me just check comments here, see if I'm missing anything. Okay. Now, so you guys have kind of figured out who I'm talking about. It's just, I watch companies where they start and I watch sometimes where they end, and I'm just in shock. And they become mill houses. It's all about courses, and people put their names on it. And if you're going to predict that the real estate market's going to crash for 14 years, I just don't know why anybody listens to people like that. Anyways, by the way, made millions, not millions, probably hundreds of millions on other things. So side effects. Here's the side effects of where we are in real estate. As crazy as it sounds, ready for this? As crazy as this sounds, check this out. We still have a shortage in the United States of approximately 4 million units that are needed. That is the forecasted. That's been going on. Now, the problem is all real estate is localized. So some places have a surplus, some places have a shortage. But if you look at the macros of the United States, we are way behind. The regulations, they're trying to pull them back. But people don't understand, building new homes does not fix the affordability in America. It actually does the opposite. There's just a cost to building a home. There's innovative new techniques that I believe they're going to be adapted in building homes with kind of on-site 3D printers. I see a lot more modular buildings going up, especially in commercial. I mean, costs are ridiculous. And so we have a shortage, but the problem is we build those homes, and the shortage is, can people afford them? That is one of the side effects of the last 4 or 5 years of interest rates. And by the way, guys, when interest rates get high, projects stop. I'm working on a marina right now. We've had it at bay for 3 years. Why? Because the cost doubled and we had to park it. And I can't get temporary financing at 10, 11% and make the numbers work. So we actually had to rent it out as a parking lot and ride it out for 2 years. We came up with a plan. I had to make a shift. I shifted with the high interest rate environment because the business wouldn't survive. That project wouldn't survive on the current numbers. Because if I want to do a 10-year note on it, I can't afford 8.65%. I can, it just won't make any money. And what's the point of doing a project if it doesn't make money? So we still have a shortage. So let me ask you this. This is probably one of the key lessons you're going to learn here. Increased demand does what to real estate? What is the net effect of increased demand? What is the biggest side effect when demand explodes in real estate? Put in the comments, because I want to see if you guys get it right. You got to learn your lessons here. When demand explodes, he's got it right. Prices go up. Oh, crap, Rick. Oh, David, dude, I'm sorry you got the Dolphins logo. That's a whole nother conversation, dude. I'm getting ready to throw my dog. I love my team, but I feel like we're like a late night talk show. Everybody talks about it. That's terrible. Anyways, you're right. Increased demand drives up prices. Whoa, wait a minute, Rick. We already have a pricing problem. I know. This is the side effect. This is the ugly part I'm going to share with you. We're talking about increased prices. We're going to increase demand. Prices are going to go up. Mortgage rates are going to go down. So did we solve the affordability? No. And guys, listen, I don't have an answer to solve the affordability. We've created this problem in the United States. We print money. We borrow. We owe like $36 trillion. Until fiscal responsibility comes in the government, prices are just going to keep going up. So you, the wholesaler, has to learn how to make more money and learn the skill set so you don't have to depend on the government. I just don't think there's a way to just, do you really want the government, like in California they have rent caps and they think that helps the market. It destroys the market. Why do I want to buy an investment property in the state of California if the government's going to tell me what I can rent it out for? What's the point? They're getting ready to do this in New York. I think New York City, to be fair. And listen, New York's just, there's a reason it's unaffordable. It's because it was colonized early and it's built out. There's nothing left. You only have one way to go out when all your units are built out. There's no more space. They go up. They've already gone up in New York. What do you want them to do? Oh, we're going to do rent freezes. Oh, okay. Everybody's going to get the hell out of New York. New York will be broke. I already know what's going to happen with that one. Once again, it's not political. It's just facts. Prices are going to increase. Now, here's the good news is, who likes competition? Raise your hand. I know you guys think we're like competitive. But competition, I'm here to tell you it's good for you. It's good for me. It makes me deliver you guys more. If I had no competition, I'd probably be lazy here. I'd probably talk about the Miami Dolphins and UFC all day. But I'm not getting business done when I do that. So I'm here to tell you, I want you to understand, I'm reading comments while I do this because I get distracted. Competition, Michelle nails it around. By the way, Michelle's been on here a long time. Shout out to Michelle. Competition is good. If I get rid of other coaches, stuff like that, it's not good because there's nothing for me to show up for. I'm here to give you the facts, to show you how to do wholesaling, give you an opportunity to partner with me, and honestly squeeze the entire software industry. Am I squeezing the coaching industry? No, I've adapted. Just other people don't want to adapt with it. You want to keep charging these ginormous price modules, go for it. I'm fine, but there's competition, people. And here's the competition with you guys online. It's with your money. Obviously, I don't take any, so it's easy. I do take it for deals and stuff that makes sense. And number two, your time, your attention. You're going to pay one way or the other. With me, you just got to pay with your time. That's cool. So as he said, competition breeds greatness. Excellent. So why am I talking about competition when we talk about wholesaling? The reason for this is competition works both ways. From the buyer side and the seller side, think about this for a second. Competition creates FOMO. Somebody put in the comments what FOMO means. I'm going to save time here. If you get two cash buyers going, so we're like right now, one of our problems over the last 3 years is when we get a deal under contract, some of them fly off the shelf and others we have to beg people to buy. Now, from 2013 to 2021, I didn't beg anyone to buy my properties. In fact, I didn't even have to work to sell them. In fact, they bid them up like I was a realtor. It was embarrassing. I was ashamed during that time. It was this is not wholesaling. I took advantage of it, but I didn't want to create a course because everybody goes, I got the latest, greatest thing, how to do wholesaling. I'm like, oh God, that'll work for the next year or two, and then it's going to fall apart. And that's why people got so frustrated in wholesaling. But FOMO, let me put it up there. That's freaking hysterical. So it stands for fear of missing out. Michelle said fear of making offers. Actually, very, very smart. But I want you to understand it's, oh, dude, you guys are freaking hysterical. This is great. I can even make this crap up. I love it because I did LAO versus MAO. You guys are being resourceful with the comments. I love it. That's right, guys. People, something happens. If you ever wanted something, if you've ever done any auction online, The minute somebody else has interest in it, it's a competition. And competition accesses your subconscious mind. It says your ego just jumps to the front. Guys, I've done this and I'm embarrassed to say it. I just want to win at all costs. I'll pay top dollar. How dare you try to outbid me? FOMO is your friend when it comes to selling and dispoing your deals. Without competition, it sucks because they can pick you apart. And I'm telling you, this is going to be one of the greatest, coolest things that you're going to experience in wholesaling. Most of you the last 2 or 3 years, let me tell you, if you survived wholesaling in the last 3 years, you should go get yourself a little medal because it hasn't been easy, particularly on dispoing your deals. Rick, I only got one guy's interested. He's beating the crap out of me. I know, just going to have to keep working it. So if we know that and we understand that, the FOMO is, it's this inner gut thing to where your ego takes over. And if I tell you have to check your ego on wholesaling, you understand why FOMO is a problem. Now, here's the cool. FOMO works for buyers. FOMO also works with sellers. If they feel there's perceived competition and people are putting their houses on the market, they're more apt to sell their homes. Guys, this is going on in markets all over the country. Let me keep going because I got a lot to get through. I forgot many notes I put in there. The bottom line, guys, is, dude, lock in. You got some good times coming ahead of wholesaling. Now, you're still going to have to put in the hard work, but I got to tell you, dispo's been challenging the last 3 years for our companies, everybody we deal with, and we get a lot of misses, meaning we just don't have enough buyers. The product is correct. We find motivated sellers on distressed properties and sell the contract. That is our product. Our customer is the cash buyer. And when customers wane because interest rates go up, there's no more competition, and the government threatens to reduce tax incentives for real estate investors. This is how we wound up in the current state we are now. Now, we got a long way to go, guys, but like if you start the ride right now, you are going to be blown away. Now, there is one big piece we're missing here, and we need to talk about it. Oh my God, I can't believe this. I can get through this much stuff. One big piece that nobody wants to talk about, that I've been really watching this carefully. Now, guys, I study all markets. I'm pretty astute at investing. Obviously, I'm biased with real estate. So my heaviest portfolio is in real estate, but I do the commodities market. I do the equities. Man, you do it. I do it. This is why I don't have to gamble, because like, I feel like once I got outside of real estate, I'm somewhat gambling, but I love it. So let's talk about capital stimulation. What the hell is Rick talking about? No, I guess I could use the better choice of words, but capital. Think about this. Let me ask you this. What do you think the average rate of return for the typical investor is right now? Let's start at the base bottom. If I want to put my money in a CD, what rate am I going to get on a CD at a bank? This should be your lowest, just so you know. Any guesses in the comments? Open up a 6-month CD, a 1-year CD, how much I'm going to get. By the way, I have no idea in today's world why people would even buy a CD. It stands for certificate of deposit. It's one of the oldest schools of investing. It's horrendous. And when you do it, you have to lock your money up for 6 months or whatever time, and you can't access it. And they pay you a crap rate. So I'm assuming you can get a CD around 3%. I think Veronica hit it right on the head. And you can't liquidate it. I don't know. To me, it's not liquid, and you don't get a good rate of return. So we have to understand the market where people can put their money. So follow me, because we got to follow the money. That's the key here. So if we understand that, is the rate of return is, let's go to the extreme. If I put my money, do you guys understand you have the ability to park your cash in treasury bills? Not directly in the treasury, but you can use a money market. You got to typically use a brokerage. You use Charles Schwab, you use Fidelity, all these other ones. What do you think you get paid on a typical money market account that's locked in on treasury bills. Remember, this is all tied to the Fed rates. We're bringing it home. So, so about 4%. So I checked today because I use this one, like my cash for my company and personally, the cash I want to keep, the stuff I need to keep it liquid, to pay bills and do everything, is about 4.25%. So obviously that dropped when they lowered the points. So I'm probably going to go down around just around 4%, probably 3.89 here in the next 30 days. And why is that important? Because my rate of return is, oh crap. Now, here's the beauty of it. I don't know why anybody would buy a CD. It just freaking blows me away. If I can put my money in a money market that's invested in T-bills, and I can get like 4.25%, what's the downside? Number one, is there any risk? No, it's guaranteed by the United States government. I don't know how good of a guarantee that is, but to me, basically FDIC, because they have to pay that obligation back. Number two, what about liquidity? Guys, how long do you think it takes me to access that money at 4.25? 6 months, 3 months, 30 days? What do you think the number is? Put it in the comments. And I'm giving you an education on how to park money. And guys, listen, here's the deal. You can put $100 in that thing. If you go and put in a savings account, does a bank even pay you right now? I don't think they do. So guys, I'm here to tell you, I see 6 months. I see 3 months. George says instant. Someone says a year. Let me teach you a little lesson. It's 24 hours. That's it. That is my liquidity issue. So why in the hell would I buy a CD at like 2%, maybe 1.5%? And I got to lock it up for 3 months, 6 months, or a year. Oh, if you do 5 years, they'll give you 4%. Put your money in a money market that's correlated with T-bills. They're very easy. You can do it just online. If you guys have cash parked, if you don't have it in an interest-bearing account, you're losing money because inflation is going to eat you alive. It only takes 24 hours to liquidate the money. Now, some of them might have minimums like $5,000 or something. You can find some lower level ones that pay a little bit lower interest rate that maybe have $100 minimum. So, but here's the challenge. Tax liens there's no liquidity. Tax liens have nothing to do with wholesaling. But so right now, so we've already told the bottom of the investment, which is close to zero. And then I can get 4.25 with no risk and 24-hour liquidity. I need you to follow this train of thought because you got to understand how people park money, because we're looking to access capital that basically, honestly, I keep 15, 20% of my holdings in cash and I get a great return on it. It's actually, I've fallen in a false sense of security because I'm used to getting 4.25, 4.5% on money parked in the bank. It adds up quick. Now, I'm just a small player in the big scheme of things. Think about this. So here's your question. Who has all this money? I've already told you. Where do you think a majority of the cash sitting on the sidelines? It's not CDs, guys. Put in the comments if you know what I've already given you the answer. Where is all this money? Who has my money? You guys, you got to go back and watch the Jerry Maguire movie. He says, where's the money? Where's the money? And if you understand this, I'm going to unlock the key to this live stream. Michelle says banks. It's not technically banks in a way it is. 401ks to a point. Roth IRA, no. Pensions, government. Guys, it's in. You ready for this? I already gave you the answer. It's parked in money markets. Let me show you a stat. This is going to blow you away. I just couldn't. Who has my money? I'm about to show you here. You ready? Let's see. Let me share my screen. This is staggering. And it's less somebody points this out to you, you don't understand it. This is all going to tie in real nice here. Let's see here. I want you to look at this stat on the screen, okay? This is tracked by the Fed. And if you look back in early 2022, just a tiny amount of money. Now jump to the end of 2025. This is going to blow you away. You ready for this? Let me pull it up here. $8 trillion is sitting inside of these liquid money market accounts. And what do you think is going to happen when they stop paying that 4.25%, and it gets down to the low threes? Because guys, here's the problem is every investor's goal, I want you to hear me out. Every investor's goal is to beat inflation. So if inflation hovers around 2.93%, and they're only going to get 2.93%, their best they're doing is breaking even. And for people with a lot of money that are rich, that's unacceptable. Do you hear me? Nobody wants to break even as an investor, except in a down market. Now, we have exploded. So why have we exploded so much? It's simple. The Fed raised the rates is if I get 4.25%, 4.5%, I don't have to lift a finger. It is the most passive type of income you can do. I click a button and I just get paid. Real estate's work. We all know that. So if we know $8 trillion is parked on the sideline, as I said, who has it and why? It's sitting in money market accounts, particularly T-bills. They're tied to them. It's like an index fund. And then why is it there? It's simple. Because the United States government's paying a big Fed rate, and you might as well take advantage of it. The banks take advantage of it. You can take advantage of it. Investors take advantage of it. But guys, I'm here to tell you, here's the important one. Where's it going? And if you understand this, once that rate of return gets below the cost of living, you can use inflation, CPI, that money is going to move, and it's going to move fast. Where's it going? What's the greatest asset class? We're going to go over that. Real estate. Real estate's always been the greatest asset class. Do you think honestly, tell me, put in the comments, what is a greater asset class than real estate in the United States? I will debate you till you turn blue on this one. Go ahead, throw it up there. Tell me what you got. I'm wide open. I'll put my money where my mouth is on this one. I don't see these trash. It's real estate. It's real estate. It's not gold. Seriously, gold? Go on, Jelson. You're smarter than that. No, it's not Bitcoin. It's not gold. What do you think the reserves are on gold? Total gold assets in the U.S. Let's just take a look here. It's a great question. Maybe I'm missing it. What's the value of it? I got the ounces, but somebody look it up for me. I'm not going to sit here and tie up that time. And trust me, I like gold, but is it gold's got one problem, bud. Let me ask you this. Land's the same thing as real estate. Gold typically goes up in value, so I'll give the appreciation. Can you deduct gold? Can you cost segregate gold? Can you take advantage of tax loopholes? No, you can't. It's a nightmare. And by the way, I invest in precious metals. They're frustrating to me. Gold's had an amazing run, but when the markets go up, gold's typically going to be level or flatlined. And I'm not buying a lot of gold in the next few years. Why? Guys, listen, the money's coming to real estate. $8 trillion, where are you going to park it? Think about this. Why is real estate the number one asset class? It's simple, guys. It's simple. Number one, ready? It appreciates. Just look at the graph. I don't have to show you. From the inception of time real estate's been sold in the United States, it's traditionally just gone up in value. Can it go backwards? Absolutely. But year after year, it typically goes up. Why? Here's the great debate. Does the value of the real estate go up, or does the value of the dollar go down? It's both. That's the truth. Now, There's a limited quantity too. You could say that about gold, I guess. That's a fair assessment. But there is a limited quantity. Go to New York. Go to New York City. Like, how are you going to build more there? You've got to buy and bid out what you have there. And then keep in mind, you utilize leverage. Let me tell you, go try to buy gold. Go to the bank and go, listen, I want a $100,000 loan to buy it all in gold. They won't give it to you. Like, banks love real estate. They loathe in it. That's where they want their assets. That's where they want their loans, because they know it's a tangible asset. They know it goes up in value. They know people are incentivized to take advantage of it. This is why banks are all in. They're kind of in bed with the government too, so you might as well take advantage of it. Now, I talked earlier, what other asset that goes up that you can depreciate and deduct from your taxable income? Oh, the answer is easy. There's no other class. This reason alone is why real estate has always made the most wealthy people even wealthier. $8 trillion, guys. It's coming in, man. I have a crap load of money. I'm moving it. I'm already working to figure out how to deploy it so I can get more deductions and I can get a higher rate of return. I'm going to be flushed out of the money market because I'm not going to accept 1% and 2% return rates, which is where it's going to wind up somewhere sub 3%. Once it's sub 3%, you better get that money working. And the purpose of the government is to stimulate. Listen, forget the politics. When you drop interest rates, you open up tax loopholes for real estate investors. It's coming, guys. You see all the investments coming in the United States. It's all about investing in the real estate. I mean, these people are putting billions of dollars in operating plants. Why? The business gets tax deductions for it, and it only goes up in value, and they probably get incentives from local markets. So I'm getting to it. Let me show it to you. How much money do you think's in the United States real estate market? Please don't Google it. Take a wild guess. I want to see some guests on here. Once you Google it, I'll know you did it. So Josh says it's in the hundreds of trillions on the market cap. It's a good guess. I mean, I would have to guess too. I'm not going to lie to you. So it should exceed our, here's the crazy part. 5 trillion. These are great guesses. And Justin's got a good point that, yeah, gold's not negotiable. Plus, you have to pay a broker if you actually do the bullion. So here's what you got to understand. 4 trillion. My guess is 15 trillion. And you know what? It's fair because you're like, holy crap, let me wrap how many units in the United States, the average price, and go around with it. Here it is, guys. Ready? 45 trillion. You start thinking about our national debt, scares the crap out of us, doesn't it? That is a big, 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 big number. Now, let's put it in relation to all the other market. We're going to bring this all home. I promise. We're going to talk specifically about wholesaling. Number one, the equities market, 35 trillion. No, you can't deduct it. You can borrow money on margins, but that's a whole other type of risk type of deal. Guys, nothing even close. If you look at 401ks and investments that are around $30 trillion, but they're locked up in all sorts of programs to qualify for retirement. So they're not very liquid. They're not as easy. Now they're getting easier to access. But guys, listen, if we know that real estate is the largest asset class, it eventually goes up in value. You can borrow money from a bank from it. You can leverage it. Oh, and you can take deductions. Even a regular homeowner can write off their interest on the home. Whatever they pay interest to the bank, they can deduct it. I believe there's a cap on it, but I think they're going to increase it. So if we know all this, guys, it's coming. It's going to rain. When is it exactly going to rain? I don't know. But the key is you want to start now and you want to get going. So if we understand that, what are the effects on wholesaling of the interest rate? Simple. This is the easiest part of the live stream, by the way. The other stuff took some actual work to do it. Number one, you should, in the long run, see much higher assignments. Why? More competition, more cash buyer creates FOMO, and you should be able to get a higher price. We've been struggling in this last 3 years. I don't even hide it from you. I've already told you, you got to do some work in dispo. It's one of the reasons why I created me and my son created the XLeads, because we want you, I'm sorry, I'm thinking here. We want you to have success, but like we have to solve problems when we do it. Now, you're going to get higher assignments. You're going to get much more buyer activity. This right here is the key part. By driving the incentives from the government's tax loopholes, which I've already signed in the bill, and we're already seeing the net effects of that. That's why you're seeing all this stimulation of all these trillions of dollars flowing in the United States, because number one, they can do it and they can deduct it as long as they have a United States business. Number two, more activity means more enthusiasm, means more FOMO. More people are going to sell their property. We have so many properties locked down on lowest interest rates. If I have an interest rate of 3.5, 3.99, which is a big percentage of the United States, and mortgage rates get down to 5%, they can stomach selling that house, refining that house, or moving into their dream home. Why is that important to you, the wholesaler? Because it creates action. And the more action, the more opportunity. I can't make people sell their house. There's nothing you can do to make people sell their house. The government, that's a whole different story. They can incentivize anybody to do anything. First-time buyer, home buyer programs, and most importantly, the Fed stimulating the economy by either increasing or reducing the rate. Guys, it's been a mess the last 4 years. There's no other way to hide it. But here's the thing is, I have made more money in the last 4 years than I made in the last 20 years. I still make money. It doesn't matter where the market is. You have to understand that. And if you understand that, you can take advantage right now of these stagnant markets. I'm telling you, like I got notes here. I don't care if a market's way up or way down. Now is the time to strike. We all know Florida, Texas, California has issues. I think they have just issues on their own, but that's my opinion. But I'm looking at here. Did you know Rochester, New York had a 10% increase year over year on their home prices? There is an incredible demand going into Rochester, New York. I don't know what's going on. I'm just looking at the numbers. They came in today. Also, Buffalo, New York is one of the hottest markets out there. Guys, this is great news because I haven't heard like these kind of numbers on these types of properties in a long time. So I will tell you, the Northeast is on fire, but they've been down for a long time. Connecticut on fire, 8.4%. New Jersey, 7.3%. And then here's the crazy part. We have a lot of stagnant markets. Florida's very stagnant. Texas, California. West Virginia's on fire, 5%. Illinois, up 6%. Oh, Rick, what don't I want to avoid those markets? No, you want to run to them. Because what happened? The knife stopped falling. It's bounced off the ground and someone's going to pick it up and run with it. I like to chase demand and I like to chase opportunity. But I'm just telling you, it doesn't matter, man. You got to get in these markets and start digging. It is unbelievable. Illinois, 6%. I never thought I'd hear this. West Virginia's smoking, man. And you guys can put in the comments, like you can see stuff going on in your local markets and understand what's going on. Is David's right. Market sentiment's improving. We're finally getting good positive news. And, New Jersey, man, like that's hats off to New Jersey, man. Like it's impressive. It's been a tough fight there. So, and here's the favorite part is that 8 trillion, I bet you at least half that's pouring into real estate right off the bat. Let's go. $4 trillion, man, it's a lot of money in wholesaling. Now, keep in mind, a lot of these hedge funds that disappeared, they put their money in T-bills. Listen, wealthy people aren't stupid. It takes a while to learn how to protect your investment. I told you about the ride I went on it, and I want to let you know that you guys can take advantage of this wave. It's going to be up to you. And I've never been more excited for real estate right now than what's the stuff we got going on. We have positive momentum in the United States. This is not a political statement. It's just factual. Look at the stock market, all-time highs every day, just kind of keeps going up. The Bitcoin, which is a widely recognized asset class, I'm not going to say it's stable, but like it's not a bad investment. I'm the type of guy who did it long time ago, and it's paid off really well for me. And You can't ignore Bitcoin anymore. I'm not here to talk about Bitcoin. It's completely different than real estate, but you see Bitcoin starting to enter into real estate, and it makes complete sense to me. Even Grant Cardone's got a Bitcoin fund, and he tied it to real estate. What's he telling you, man? So listen, smart people are always trying to find ways to make their money work harder and better for them. So the wealthy people have had their money parked on the sidelines, and it's time for you and me to grab that money. And they're going to look for great deals that they can take advantage, they can fund with cash, and they want a positive return on investment. So let me ask you, can you guys go out and find a property and show an investor that he or she can earn more than 3.2%? That's all you got to beat. Why? They'll most likely get appreciation, but they get the tax deduction. If you put all three of those together, listen, I bought properties with as low as a 2 and 3% return just to get the tax deduction. Why? I can park that money in a CD. I can park it in a money market and T-bills. They're never going to reward me. Now, I got to do a lot more work. I got to pay accountants, CPAs, maybe property managers. I got to do some rehab and construction, all deductible expenses, but I'm fine with it. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to pay somebody else to do it. So it's a great question right here. What would you recommend to a new wholesaler to do? Start. Just understand how to recognize a motivated seller. By the way, just go over, I'll put it right up here again. All you got to do is go over to freewholesaling.com. That's the best place to get started because it's not costing you any money, and you can get an education and you can get the truth about how this business works. And that's a great question because all people get started like, how do I get started? Number one, get yourself educated and understand it. But I need to get you past the theory part, and I need to get you into action. Too many people are stuck in theory. I don't want to work with people stuck in theory. The same people are stuck in school, same people are stuck in their job. You're going to have to go outside your comfort zone and take action to make this happen. It is up to you. But I would get started. Remember ODN, I'm looking for off-market properties direct to seller that needs to sell, and you have to concentrate on marketing. Now, the way me and Zach teach you how to do it is we want you to go out and pull government lists. I believe we have over 9 different government lists that you can access in freewholesaling.com. And then we're going to teach you how to get the list, how to access the list, and how to reach out to these people. But you got to do the reach out part. Me and Zach can't do that for you. And if you'll take that risk, you can do amazing things with it. But most people can't get back. I'm uncomfortable. I'm scared. I don't like the cold call. Hey, I don't like to do a lot of things either. I hated brushing my teeth as a kid. I've already paid the price for that with the dentist. I brush my teeth religiously 3 times a day. Why? Because I want to keep the teeth I have. So what would I do? Number 1, educate. And number 2, quickly get started. This is not like school where you take 5 years to learn something. You can suck it all up and get started in as little as 30 days. It's that simple. Why did we create freewholesaling.com? Because you guys need a guide and a compass to get started. If I start out getting in your pocketbook right away, I guarantee you're going to have a false expectation. You're going to think like I'm this amazing guru. And like at the end of the day, you just need proper guidance and you need to take action. But so many people think, well, if I pay this big fat fee, that'll accelerate me to a point. But when you're starting out, here's the cool part. If you paid me $1 million or I taught you for free, you're getting the same education. Do you want me just to tinker you along and go, oh, you want to access this course? You got to pay this. You got to pay this. We make everything to this day. Do I have paid services? Yes. I offer XLeads. To me, hands down, the best wholesaling software out there. Skiptraces included. You get up to 25,000 leads with your basic one. You get e-signing included. Nobody can even come close to what we do. Why? Because we demanded it. And you know what? I'm building something much bigger than just putting money in my pocket. I'm building a business. More importantly, I'm building it with my family and my son. And I believe in what we do. Are we perfect? Hell no. We make a lot of mistakes, but at least I do something about it. A lot of other people that influence this business, they just complain. And I don't understand it. I commend anybody that helps people out and get involved in wholesaling. But we all have different ways to do it, and we have to respect it. So I don't want to step on people's toes. God knows. I mean, people do entire videos on me and my son. And, oh, he's a scam. Like, really? I don't even know who you are. You've never even been in my office. You never met me. I've done over 4,000 deals. I'm a scam. Like, come on, guys. This isn't a Reddit post. My God. So the idea is you got to get started. You got to go now. Yeah, you got to floss too. I love this business. I'm extremely passionate about it. I am all in. And my son just being of such a young age, at 25, like who's like the Ginns are here. And like, here's the deal is I practice what I preach. I taught my son this business in high school, and you see the product 9 years later, and I teach the same methods to you guys. But free wholesaling is the best place to get started. It is a 100% free course. You never have to pay me a dime. And if that's what you want to do, I'm okay with it. That's it. That's my mission. That's me and my son's mission. And we want to share it with you. If you want to partner with us, we have opportunities to do that. We have some incredible opportunities we're getting ready to present to you guys. And obviously, XLeads, I can save you a crap load of money and give you so much more than what you have. If you're tired of having 9 different sign-ins, 9 different charges on your credit card, and none of them work together, XLeads solves that problem for you. Remember, we're the only wholesaling software that's been created by real wholesalers with over 30 years experience in the business. Are we experts at software? No, but we're experts in wholesaling. That's the number one fundamental difference you have to understand, our differentiator. Do some softwares have more polished sites and like slick people talking behind the thing? Is no, but you'll never find the founder. I'm here, baby. I'm right here in front of you. So I love you guys. We need to learn to love each other and stop fighting. I'm tired of the fighting in this country. It's ridiculous. I love all wholesalers, even the people who hate my guts. I say a prayer for you every night because life is short. We're just renting out these bodies. We're renting out this space. Go out and give somebody a hug. Give them love because we're not going to be here forever. So let's go out and help our families. I love wholesaling. I hope I've inspired you guys to jump in. Guys, this is the greatest time I've seen in a long time to get started in wholesaling. Don't be the guy that starts, quits. Get into wholesaling and be a marathon wholesaler. Be the Rick Ginn, the 23 years in business, because guys, I never worry if I'm going to get another deal. As long as I show up every day, I'm here. And remember, I got in this for one single reason, to spend more time with my family and to get out of the chains of corporate America. And I did it. And you guys are seeing my son as a product of what I've done. So all the other people that preach about real estate and wholesaling, I just want you to understand, I did it. I have a full thriving business with my son. I have my family that works with me in the background, and that's who I am. I'm always going to be a family man first. I love wholesaling. It has changed my life. It's changed my son's life. It's changed most of the people that I've connected with right here. So I'm looking forward to it. October 17th, 18th, I'm going to be in San Antonio. I'll be in Dallas just before, but check out Wholesaling Live. I'm actually, me and Zach are going to be speaking there, and we don't speak a lot in public, but I love Charles. I love everything he does for the community. But we're going to go out and close deals there. We're going to find out who the real closers in the crowd. It'll be a lot of fun. And any local wholesalers want to show up, want to connect with me, I'll be there at least 2 out of the 3 days on the 17th, 18th. Look it up, Wholesaling Live. It's a great event. It's really, really cool. I'm excited to be there. And anybody that helps elevate the wholesaling community, I want to be a part of it. And I want to work with you guys. So if we had an army of like Flip with Rick, XLeads people, it'd be awesome, because we're going to feature our software there and show you how to get deals faster and get it done. So, yes, XLeads, you can build in your own software. You just got to have your own WordPress account to do it. You do your landing pages. There's not much you can't do with XLeads. I'm not going to do an entire commercial on it, but it is what it is. So guys, listen, if you got value from today, do me a favor, make sure you smash that like button, hit that subscribe button. The absolute best compliment you can get from me, because I just give it all away for free. I don't have it. You can go to freewholesaling.com and become a millionaire. I guarantee it. The question is, are you going to do the work? We have things that can help you along the way, but let's get you started. That's the key. Let's get you the facts. Let's get some money in your pocket. And if you decide to turn around and spend it with me on doing a JV or getting some extra help, I want to help you out. But I have to get you started. That's the main thing. We got to put money in your pocket. Hit that subscribe button, guys. I will we'll be on Zach Discord tomorrow night at 8 p.m. So make sure you connect with us there.